It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Two continents, Europe and Africa, so close, you can literally see one from the other. And for more than 100 years, people have dreamed of building a bridge to connect them. But every single time, it's failed. So today, we're going to dig into the incredible story of why they're still physically disconnected. So get this, if you're standing in the right spot in Spain, you can literally look across the water and see a mountain in Morocco. It's right there. We're talking about a distance that's shorter than a lot of our daily commutes, right? You could cross it in under half an hour. So the big question is, with all the incredible technology we have today, why on earth hasn't anyone built a bridge or a tunnel across this tiny little gap? Yeah, just 14 kilometers. That's it. That's the whole gap. To give you some perspective, that's roughly the trip from Mumbai out to Navi Mumbai. It's so short you can almost taste it. It's this promise of linking two massive continents in a way that's just never been done. And here's the thing. This little strip of water, it's one of the most important waterways on the entire planet. It's a massive global choke point. Think about it. A whopping 80% of the EU's goods, half of all global trade, and a third of the world's oil and gas, it all sails right through here. So you can imagine, a physical link would be an absolute game changer for everybody. And it's not like people haven't tried, or that we don't know how. I mean, come on, we built the 50-kilometer channel tunnel between the UK and France. We've built bridges in China that are way, way longer than this. And yet, every single plan to cross this little 14-kilometer strait has failed. There's some kind of secret down there, hidden deep under the water. All right, so where did this whole dream even start? Let's take a look back at some of the really ambitious and honestly sometimes pretty wild plans that people have cooked up over the last 100 years to try and conquer this strait. Yeah, this idea is definitely not new. The dream has kind of morphed over the years. It started with these radical, almost sci-fi concepts way back in the 1920s, and then it evolved into serious government-backed deals in the late 70s that really kicked off decades of proper research. Okay, so the first big plan was seriously wild. It was called Project Atlantropa. The idea was to build a gigantic dam, literally lower the level of the entire Mediterranean Sea by hundreds of feet, and create a whole new supercontinent connecting Europe and Africa. I mean, wow. It was actually a super detailed plan. But you can imagine, the costs, the environmental nightmare, the politics, it just stayed a fantasy. All right, so fast forward to that 1979 agreement between Spain and Morocco. Now things are getting serious. They send out survey ships to actually map the seabed, trying to figure out where to put a bridge or a tunnel. But what they discovered down there? Well, it was a total geological nightmare. You see, the missions they ran in the 80s and 90s were just hit with these bizarre problems. Drill bits would just snap right off. Ships couldn't even stay anchored. Their sonar equipment couldn't get a proper depth reading. It was almost like some powerful, invisible force was actively fighting them. And well, in a way, it was. After years of research, they finally figured it out. It wasn't just one thing. It was a perfect storm of 5 huge problems. We're talking crushing depths, a totally unstable seabed, rock they couldn't get through, a tectonic collision zone, and these incredibly powerful currents. Let's break this gauntlet down. Okay, first up, the depth. It is just insane. On that short route, it goes down 900 meters. That is almost 5 times deeper than the English Channel. To build a bridge here, you'd need support pillars as tall as 3 Eiffel Towers stacked one on top of the other. Just try to picture that. The scale is just mind-boggling. Problem number 2, the seabed itself. You'd think it would be solid rock down there, right? Nope. It's this stuff called breccia, which is basically a weak, mushy mix of rock bits in a kind of clay soup. Trying to anchor a massive bridge into that? It's like trying to build a skyscraper on, I don't know, wet mud. It's just not gonna work. But honestly, the real deal breaker, the true showstopper, is that this whole area is a tectonic war zone. The strait sits right on the fault line where the Eurasian and African plates are smashing into each other. You've got constant tremors. A bridge here would literally have one foot on one continent and the other foot on another, while they're constantly grinding together. It's an absolute nightmare for any engineer. So, okay. The short route was clearly a bust, a total dead end. But just when it looked like the whole idea was impossible, all those years of hard work finally paid off. The researchers found another way, an alternative path. It's much longer, but it might, just might, work. What they found was this longer route, about 28 kilometers. Now, yeah, that's double the distance, but the crucial part is the maximum depth is only 300 meters. That's just a third of the depth on the short route, and the seabed is way more stable. This new path brilliantly dodges all the worst geological traps. So with this new route on the table, the whole plan changed. A bridge was officially out. The new solution? A 28-kilometer-long 3-tube rail tunnel. You'd have 2 tubes for high-speed trains and 1 in the middle for service and safety. It's a fantastic, totally viable piece of engineering. And get this, it would cut the travel time between Casablanca and Madrid from 12 hours all the way down to just 5.5. Incredible. Okay, so the engineering puzzle is solved. They have a solid plan. In 2006, they even awarded a contract to get it built. It felt like construction was just about to start. But then, the whole project slammed into its biggest, most stubborn wall yet. And this time, the obstacle wasn't rock or water or shifting continents. It was politics. A really deep, long-standing political fight. It all comes down to 2 places, Ceuta and Melilla. They're 2 territories that are physically located in Morocco, but they've been controlled by Spain for centuries. And this is the core issue, the main source of friction between the 2 countries. And this isn't just talk. This political friction has stopped the project in its tracks over and over again. Back in 2008, the Spanish king visited these territories, which Morocco saw as a huge provocation, so they pulled their ambassador and stopped all work on the project. And similar fights over things like who owns what and migration have just kept derailing everything, leaving this perfectly good engineering plan stuck in political limbo. And that brings us to today. For the first time in a century, we actually have a real, workable, technical solution. We know how to build this tunnel. The biggest challenge isn't about steel and concrete anymore. It's about diplomacy. It's about trust. So that leaves us with this final thought, right? We have an engineering marvel just sitting there, ready to go. A project that could connect 2 whole continents. And it's not being held back by geology anymore. It's being held back by history. So the question really isn't if we can build a tunnel of steel. It's whether these 2 nations can first figure out how to build a bridge of trust.